Hello, this is Mr. Kissinger. I'm a third grade teacher at the Syracuse Academy of Science and Citizenship in Syracuse, New York. Today we are going to start a lesson on estimating length. So at the top of our page here, we have a few items that can help us to make estimates. Estimates is when we don't have an exact measurement, and we're gonna take our best guess at how long something is. So some items we can use to make estimates would be the width of our little finger. The width of your pinky is 1 centimeter, approximately 1 centimeter, about. And then we have a quarter. The width of a quarter is about 1 inch. A loaf of bread is about 1 foot, and the width of a door is about 1 meter or 1 yard. A meter is metric, and yards are standard, just like centimeters are metric and inches are standard. They're just two different ways of measuring length or width. So think what you know about units to measure length. Ty wants to estimate the length of his toy car. He thinks about 2/4 would fit under his car. So we have Ty's toy car right here, and then we have 2/4. Is the length of the toy car longer or shorter than the 2/4? So if we look here, there's a little bit of space past the car. We go right down to the end of the quarter. So it's a little bit shorter than the 2/4. So we would say that's shorter. Then it asks you, what do you think is a good estimate for the length of Ty's car in inches? So to the nearest inch, we look and we would say, okay, that car is about 2/4 long. Now, how many inches is the width of a quarter? We can look up at the top of our screen. It's 1 inch. So how many inches about is Ty's toy car? Right, it's 2 inches. 2/4 is 2 inches. All right, let's look at something a little bit different. So use measurements you already know to estimate length. So this time it says Julia wants to estimate the length of her pencil box. She knows a marker is about 14 centimeters long. Julia thinks about how a marker would look next to her pencil box. So here we have a marker and we have the pencil box up here. Which best describes the length of the pencil box? Mark all the correct answers. So is the pencil box less than 14 centimeters, more than 14 centimeters, less than 28 centimeters, or more than 28 centimeters? So we can have more than one answer here. So think about it for a second. If you need to, pause the video and then come up with your answer or answers, and then we'll come back together and we'll go over it. Okay, so first, is the pencil box less than 14 centimeters or more than 14 centimeters? We know that the length of this marker here is 14 centimeters. So is it less? Is this the length of this pencil box more than the length of the marker, that 14 centimeters, or is it less? It's more because we have all this space right here that's more. So we're going to say it's more than 14 centimeters. Now, it says less than or more than 28 centimeters. What is special about the number 28? Why would we want to see if it's less than or more than 28 centimeters? How many markers would make 28 centimeters if one is 14 centimeters? 2 markers. 14 times 2, or 14 plus 14, 2 markers would be 28 centimeters. So do you think if we had another marker and we put another marker on the end of this one, would the 2 markers be longer than the pencil box, or would it be shorter than the pencil box? The markers would be longer. They would be longer than 28 centimeters. So is the pencil box longer than 28 centimeters? Would it be longer than 2 markers put together? No, it would be less. So we know it's less than 28 centimeters. So now we have a range of lengths. We know that our pencil box is more than 14 centimeters, but it's less than 28 centimeters. So it could be any number in between there, and we can make a better guess and say, well, is it half a marker? But it doesn't ask us to do that. It could be 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, or 27 centimeters. But we know that it's less than 28, and we know that it's more than 14. Hannah estimates that Julia's pencil box is 30 centimeters long. Is this a good estimate? Explain why or why not. So think about that and come up with your answer, and then pause the video if you need to, if you need a minute to think about it, and then we'll come back together and we'll go over it. So Hannah estimates that Julia's pencil box is 30 centimeters long. Is that a good estimate? So let's look at the problem before here. We know it's more than 14 and less than 28. Is 30 more than 14? Yes, it's more than 14. Is 30 less than 28? No, it's not. So 30 is more than 28. It's more than it would be more than 2 markers long, and we know that the pencil box is not more than 2 markers long. So Hannah's estimate is not a good estimate because it doesn't fall between 14 centimeters and 28 centimeters. And we know that our pencil box is between 14 centimeters and 28 centimeters. Moving on to the next page, this problem requires a ruler, a centimeter ruler, and we don't have one available to us right now. So we're going to skip that one and go to the next problem, but this one will help us as well. So it says use the hair clip and ribbon to answer problems 4 and 5. So first it asks us to estimate the length of the ribbon. The ribbon is about blank inches long. So let's look at our hair clip. Hair clip is 2 inches long. Now, we know this length is 2 inches. How long do you think the ribbon is? How long about do you think the ribbon is? So come up with your answer, and then we will come back and go over it. Okay, so you have your estimate. Now, I'm going to take my tape measure, and I will measure for us so we know how many inches long the ribbon is. And our ribbon is 5 inches long. Now, you might have had 4 inches long. You might have said 4.5. You might have said 6, but we know it's about 5 inches long. So we would still have a good estimate as long as we're within an inch one way or another. I would say we could say that's a good estimate. So how did you estimate the length of the ribbon? So let's go back up here and look at this. So if you came up with 4 inches, or you came up with 5 inches, or you came up with 6 inches, how did you come up with that number? Well, you're going to take the hair clip here, and if we imagine another hair clip here, it might come out to there. And then this would be another 2 inches. We have this space here, so we know it's a little bit more than 2 inches. So if you got 5, that's probably how you figured it out. If you guessed 4, maybe you just thought you could probably fit another hair clip there. And if you got 6, you might think we could fit 2 more hair clips. Either way, we know that this hair clip is 2 inches. If we add another 2 inches on, we know that this ribbon is longer than another hair clip. So we know that it's at least 4 inches. And then how does your estimate compare with the actual length of the ribbon? Well, depending on what you got, you could say that your estimate was shorter, your estimate was longer. If you got something outside of 4 or 6 inches, if you got something like 2 inches or 3 inches, or if you got something like 7 or 8 inches, maybe you would say that my estimate was not close to the actual length. and then you can look at maybe where you might have went wrong. I would think it would be somewhere with estimating how many more clips you would need to measure the rest of the ribbon. And then when would you estimate length instead of measuring exact length? Write about it. So this one is just something to think about. I would say try to come up with one time that you might want to estimate a length rather than measuring the actual length. This is something that we could use in real life a lot, and it's something you might use at home. And you can look at something and say, that's about 2 widths of a door, so that's 2 meters or 2 yards. Or you might look at, maybe you're looking at your cell phone and you say, oh, that cell phone is about 4 or 5 quarters long. Maybe it's 4 or 5 inches. So it's a good tool to have when you're looking at something and you want to measure and you don't have a ruler in front of you to get an exact length. So that's all for this lesson. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Dojo, Google Classroom, or my email at j.kissinger@sany.org. Thank you and have an awesome day.